Welcome into another edition of Prep Picks. Heather Williams alongside Steve Wilmoth of ESPN Tri-Cities, TriCitySports.com. Steve, there are only like 3 weeks left in the regular season in Tennessee. Where has the time gone?
It's the fastest couple of months of the year, no question about it. We're into October now. Best month of the year by far, too.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get rolling with a couple of big games on the Tennessee side of the state line. We will start Grainger at Unicoi County. Unicoi County started off hot. They really need to kind of find their mojo going into the postseason.
First meeting between these two teams they've never played before. Grainger's got 3 wins on the year, but those wins have come over teams that are combined to 1-19. Defense has struggled. Unicoi County comes in with Colby Jones at quarterback. We know what he can do. Blaze Rice has really stepped up, giving them some balance in the running game. Unicoi County already has 1 win over a Region 1 4A opponent this year, Northview Academy. That same Northview Academy just beat Grainger recently, 21-8. I like the Blue Devils in this one. I just like that offensive balance and that Grainger defense against teams that the best teams on their schedule. They've given up a bunch of points, about 50 points a game. So I like the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I like your like opponent thing there because I think that's the best way to compare the two. Unicoi County, they have won the games they're supposed to win, and this is a game they're supposed to win. So I'm going to go with Unicoi County as well. I think this will be good to get them that momentum I talked about going into the postseason. Volunteer. I mean, what can you say about Volunteer? They've been incredible. I know there's a lot of new faces on the team, but really incredible turnaround there. They are on the road at Chuckey-Doak.
Well, one of those new, one of those new faces is quarterback Lincoln Wilson, who's thrown for 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns this year. Had 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in a win over Northview Academy, our friends here early in the program for sure. But they've got a lot of balance. You know, they've got great running backs, great receivers, put up a lot of points. Chuckey-Doak, I mean, Volunteer averages about 40 points a game in its wins. Scored 21 in the one loss to Elizabethton. Chuckey-Doak, the last 3 weeks, has only scored 33 and only scored 19 against a Claiborne team that hasn't won a game yet this year. So I like Volunteer in this one. This would be the Falcons' 6th win of the year. Only 3 times in school history have the Falcons won 6 games, only 2 winning seasons. This is a record-breaking year for Volunteer, and this is another step in that direction.
Yeah, I love what they've done. You mentioned Lincoln Wilson. He's our News 5 Player of the Week this week, and the turnaround's been incredible. Chuckey-Doak, a decent turnaround too. I mean, we forget they had a really kind of a miserable season last year, so it's really been a nice little turnaround for them. Not as dramatic as what they've done at Volunteer, but still, it's been a great year. I love Volunteer. I think they're going to win this game. I think as the year comes, reality kind of sets in on them. They still have to play Cherokee. They still have to play Greenville, right?
Yeah.
So a little bit of reality will set in, but still, it doesn't matter, right? They're set up really well. They're probably going to the playoffs, and I think it's going to be a great season. Picking Volunteer in this one, and kudos on what's been an amazing turnaround. Let's jump over to the Virginia side of the state line, and a couple of teams that really need a victory as far as if they want to stay in that Region 1D playoff hunt, and that is Holston at Patrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean, one team comes in. Holston's got 4 wins on the year. Patrick Henry, too. Holston's opponents that they have beating this year are 4-19. Meanwhile, Patrick Henry's 4 losses have come to opponents that are 18-7. So the schedule, I don't think, is quite as even when you look at the records from the 2 squads. You look at last week, and one team really did a great job running the football, 420 yards on the ground. That was Holston. Meanwhile, Patrick Henry allowed over 400 yards in its loss. These 2 teams, though, are really evenly matched. I think you got to look at the 2 opponents carefully when you look at those differential and total yardage last week. This is a really, really hard game to call. I kind of thought because Patrick Henry was at home that I was going to lead that way, but just the results from last week, you know, what Patrick Henry's defense has allowed so far on the year, I can't quite get over that. They've both played John Battle, our favorite, same team comparison. And that would lead towards Patrick Henry. But I remember Holston was also up 31 points in that game at one time, too. So I think I'm going to take the road team here. I think I'm going to go with the Cavs.
The thing about Patrick Henry is they have a brand new coach, and they're doing some things differently than they've done for years and years and years. They still run the ball, but it's just a different look for them. I think that, it's going to take a while for them to kind of adjust to that. I just think at this point in the year, I've seen both of them play in person, and I think Holston's playing a little better just from the amazing college football eye test.
Yes.
Holston passes the eye test just a little bit more. I think it's going to be maybe one of the best games of the week, although there are some real bangers on the Virginia side of the state line. Three
Yes.
really good games we're picking. But I'm going to go with Holston on this one with you too. All right, the battle for of unbeatens for
Yeah.
first place in the Mountain Seven after the great game last week. Now we turn around and we have Ridgeview at Union.
Wow, back to back.
Yeah.
Big games at Bullet Park for Union. We expected Union might be in this position undefeated. I don't know about Ridgeview with what they lost with O'Quinn leaving at quarterback, the 4-year starter, but they've had some folks step up. Deal, I mean, hey, he's the real deal at running back, correctly. Roddy Burkhoff has come off, played a nice quarterback for them as well. Ridgeview's put up a bunch of points. The schedule, though, has really been light, I think, for the Wolfpack. And you look at that defense for Union, what they've done all year. Gate City managed to put 21 on them last week, but I just think that Ridgeview's not quite there yet. Again, Union just too strong. I like Union's defense to be the difference in this game.
Yeah, it's really impressive what Ridgeview's done because they also have a brand new head coach on top of everything else. Uh, but it's kind of like what I said for Volunteer. The schedule's about to get real now for
Yes.
Ridgeview. Again, playoff team. I think I'll be interested to see what happens when they face Gate City because I think that will be for second place in the Mountain Seven. But I think Union has shown that they are the class of Mountain Seven, and I think they show it again this week. Our Friday night rivals game this week. Boy, these two teams know each other well. They played each other a lot in a lot of meaningful games. Unbeaten Eastside at one loss to a Class 3 school,
Right.
Rye Cove.
Exactly. Glad you made that point about the Lord Botetourt game to begin with. These two teams, the last 2.5 years, I think are a combined 53-11.
Yes.
And they have played each other 4 times. And Rye Cove has won all 4. And that's kind of eating at the crawl a little bit, as they say, of the Spartans. Both these two teams play great defense. They are physical. They want to establish the line of scrimmage. They can run the football. Keldon Hamilton, obviously, what he's done at Eastside. Barnett for Rye Cove has scored in any way possible that you get in the end zone. He's done it this year. This game absolutely has it all. It's going to be a blast to watch on Friday. I just think Eastside, I think it's their year. The last 2 years they've been 0-4 against the Eagles. I just think this year that it's Eastside's year to get it done.
So when Rye Cove was kind of coming up and Honeacre was the big dogs in Region 1D and Rye Cove lost only games to Honeacre, it kind of feels the same way, right? Eastside's coming up now. They've only lost to Rye Cove. Although I think if these two teams play twice this year, they'll probably split. Because I just don't see Eastside is right there, but you could kind of see that Rye Cove had taken a step over Honeacre. I don't know that Eastside has gone over Rye Cove. They're right there. I don't think they've gone over it. That being said, I'm disappointed that you took Eastside because I have believed that they're probably the best team in 1D, even though I have Rye Cove ranked higher because in the preseason they were ranked higher, and I don't like to drop teams just cause. So I am picking Eastside, but I'm sad that you did too because we have identical picks. And I thought maybe that was going to be the one.
I thought for sure we might have a couple of different ones there today, but those are going to be some great games in Virginia, man. It's no question. Much better than that slate in Tennessee this week.
It happens. It happens. Sometimes you just get stinkers of slates. All right, what do you want to talk about this week?
Well, a couple of coaches. Let's give out some shout outs. How about Sean Jones at South Green? 100 wins on his career. Only the third coach in Greene County football history to get there, and the first one that didn't coach at Greenville. How's that? Fred Sorrells and Kane Ballard, the other two. Jason Jarrett, all-time winningest coach at Happy Valley. Congratulations to him. I like what Elizabethton did last week. They lose the quarterback, Rhett Slagle's out for the year, 3-year starter. Brought in Bryson Blevins, did a nice job in his first start. Coach Witten set him up to be really successful, throwing the football, those short routes to a guy they moved to tight end to really give him some confidence going through that football game as they get ready for big games later in the year. So I like what Elizabethton did with that new quarterback.
And Sean Witten, I don't know if we talked about, but he recently passed his grandfather as the winningest coach at Elizabethton. And that's just kind of what he does, right? He sets up guys. You lose a big time player at quarterback, either the graduation or injury, and you're like, oh gosh, what are they going to do? He just pulls another one off the bench. It's pretty impressive how he's got those guys all set up for success up there.
I'm not crazy. Thursday night game. I mentioned I was off.
Yeah.
I got a Thursday night game. I'm not particularly crazy about high school football on Thursday. I'm not crazy about college football on Friday night for the
Yeah.
same reason I'm not crazy about the game on Thursday. I know it has to happen sometimes. Teams share home fields. I know Westridge had to go to Morristown last Thursday night, play that game on a Thursday night. I think the amount of people that were at that game could fit in this podcast studio.
Oh,
Okay, so
big
there's that as well. I just would rather have high school football on Friday night and not have them impede on some important postseason action going on in other sports this Thursday night.
Yeah, it kind of takes
Yeah.
the spotlight away from there. And I kind of wish, and I know why they're doing it. Again, they're for
Right.
shared stadiums or whatever, but I kind of wish that if they were on Thursday night, it was like the NFL,
Yeah.
where it was like marquee matchup. Like I don't mind Science Hill, Dobbins Bennett on a
Okay, I
Thursday,
gotcha.
or Greenville, Elizabethton on the Thursday, where it's really like the showcase event.
Greenville, Sevier County a couple of weeks ago.
Right,
Okay,
that's
yes,
perfect.
yeah.
But yeah, when it's just a game, and no disrespect to any of the teams that are playing on Thursday, but there have been some games that are just games.
Yeah.
Those games should really be on Friday.
Yeah, I wish they were. And once the other sports get concluded, like volleyball and soccer in the post, I don't have a problem with it as much later in the year. We don't have those sports going on because, Dobbins Bennett plays on Thursday. Their volleyball team could very well be playing for a district championship that night. And I just think it takes away.
Oh, it takes
from some
fans
of that.
away. It
Yeah,
takes some fans
yeah.
away, especially students.
Yes.
I mean, the students all the schools are great about supporting volleyball and soccer and going out there and making some noise. But there's a football game on. I mean, being
Yeah.
in high school a million years ago, football games are social events.
Right.
So it's just a little bit different. So I completely agree with you. If you want more great insight on high school sports, be sure to check out his website. That is tricitysports.com, and join me Friday at 11:15 for another edition of Friday Night Huddle.